Hi, welcome to the This Morning headquarters, live from my living room on day what feels like 150 of being unemployed. I have put zero effort into my appearance today and decided to record a video that was going to live probably forever on a public platform. But it's where I am, and I'm doing my best to just show up as I am, which I hope allows you to just kind of meet me wherever you are. If it's on this day or in the future, just know that you have a friend in me. It's a rainy, dreary day here in Cincinnati, and typically these This Morning episodes come out at 8 a.m. And I woke up this morning, to be transparent, and was not feeling it. And I try to really push myself beyond the times of not feeling it to stay consistent and to give myself some routine and normalcy. And I just found myself coming up short. And I'm going to give myself grace. I'm going to give myself some grace. We're going to talk about Dolphins today. That's going to be the primary driver of today's conversation because I watched a video on TikTok that had me in tears. And also believing in other things that probably aren't true. Okay, before we get there, as mentioned, rainy, dreary day in Cincy. Nothing to complain about on that front, but the big news is that our current president on this March 10th or 11th, I think it is the 10th. I lied. It's the 11th. Our president of the United States is in America, and his name is Donald Trump. Well, he's obviously in America, but he drove through Cincinnati, and it has all of the roads completely closed. And I was just listening to tractor trailers and regular cars and everyone wailing on their horns this afternoon. And then it was like, oh, right, the president's here. So that's that. I think he's gonna go to like Reading and probably talk to some important lawmakers in Ohio. And, you know, if I had a moment, I don't even know. What would you ask Donald Trump if you were standing across from him? And maybe this president doesn't resonate with you. Like, pick any president you want. I don't care. Like standing, it is wild. You're like, that's the president. And this is my apartment. I can see his motorcade from my window. I actually missed the part where he drove by my apartment, but my best friend has pictures of the motorcade. I'm like, that's just kind of like insane. Anyways, I digress. Anytime I think about the president, I think My Date with the President's Daughter, which was a made-for-TV Disney Channel movie, and I loved the Disney Channel. So, all right. Where were we? Yeah, I was not feeling it this morning. I struggled. I am struggling through job loss. I was laid off in October, if you're new to This Morning by chance. And at this point, I don't have any W-2 work. But I'm also not necessarily in the market for W-2 work at the moment. I still have some non-compete. I'm getting paid a full severance. So I don't have anything to complain about. But as I navigate transition in this life, I find myself really unsettled is what I'm coming up with here. Deeply happy and deeply sad at the same time. I have nothing but love from friends, community, a partner, and I have access to those feelings abundantly, but I find myself deeply sad when I reflect on where I was a year ago and things of that nature. One of the bigger struggles that is not a surprise to me is my ADHD feels really disorientating and disjointed, and I feel bad for my brain a little bit. For example, yesterday I had a moment of tears in my Honda HR-V. I drove to an event and looked at the paper before I got in the car and then drove to the complete wrong place. And it was really defeating. I have been navigating getting back into movement and routine, and I do agree that life is very, very, very much about perspective. And I chose to stop working out January 29th. That was the last Pilates class I took. We're sitting at March 11th. And I chose to put my energy into growing some freelancing and W-9 work. And that's been really good. And I've been getting 10,000 steps a day trying to move my body outside. But I know it's time to get back into a gym setting and routine to lift weights. I want to feel better about myself. I'm going on a vacation in May, and, I have this like deadline. I have a lot of like fake deadlines in my head. My severance runs out April 15th. That's a deadline in my head. I have this Florida vacation that I want to look hot for. That's Memorial Day weekend, deadline in my head. And I can't quite figure out what this is. I don't think it's a motivation thing. I've never once struggled being motivated to move my body, but I can't quite make my way to Crunch Fitness. And I have tried everything. I've looked into it. I've watched videos. I've talked to numerous friends. I used a buddy's guest pass to get in. I even got dressed yesterday. I made a TikTok. By the way, I haven't been on TikTok in years because I was quite uncertain what the government was going to do with it. So I didn't invest any time into it. And I made a TikTok yesterday, and I was like, I said it was probably in this outfit, and I was laying down. I was like, okay, hi, my name is Tiff Potter, and I'm going to the gym for the first time in 6 weeks. I live in Cincinnati. I had to make a Stitch video today saying that I never went to the gym. That's embarrassing. Like, I'm trying everything. What is this? What's happening? I made it through the process of signing up yesterday, and then when it came time to the credit card portion and understanding the fees, I got scared and overwhelmed, and I bailed. And I said, okay, you know what? I'll just sign up at the gym. I got dressed. I walked to my car and walked right past my car and went for a walk. And here's the thing. Walking feels good to me. I'm trying to get 8,000 to 10,000 steps. I love walking, but a woman with ulcerative colitis at 36 years old isn't losing weight or shaping her body by walking. And that really pisses me off. I'm sure it does for you too. It's like so much information on the internet. Eating protein, eating not enough protein, not eating enough fiber. Are you sleeping? Is your nervous system reset? Do you feel good about your life? Are you getting enough sleep? It's like, how many of the right things do you have to do in a row to get the physique that you want? And I think I have ulcerative colitis, which was new for me last year. So figuring that out, and I think I'm riddled with inflammation, and not to make this about me and my health concerns, but it is a interesting place to sit of, okay, how much of this is in my control? Going to the gym is in my control, versus what's happening internally that I can't really quite put my finger on. Cycles play a role in what I'm doing. My hormonal cycle as a woman. Yep, it just is what it is. Is it sleep? Is it stress? I do think that being emotionally dysregulated, my body tends to react. So working on that stuff, but I promised that when I was laid off, I was going to try to show up as unpolished as possible. So may this video forever live on the internet, wherever it may find you. I don't know what is on the other side. And some days I am deeply happy and deeply sad at the same time. I have faith in the work that I'm doing and that I'm creating on my own, but I don't have a clear blueprint forward. I am meeting a version of myself that I have never met yet. And the three of us, I should say, are getting acclimated. Okay, let's talk about dolphins. So as I was scrolling the internet, trying to convince myself to go to Crunch Fitness, I feel deeply uncomfortable in my life, deeply uncomfortable in my body, and now my brain, because of my ADHD. I don't even know if I remember telling you the story. I went to the wrong location for the event, so I decided to pick myself up with the internet. And it really didn't disappoint this time. This man they found a man in Florida on the beach, and I will be on the beach in May, fat or not. And he had said that dolphins kidnapped him and brought him under the water's surface deep down to build structures, to build homes, to build things. And I'm gonna play that video right now, and I don't know what the purpose of this is in our conversation, other than the fact that it made me cry laughing. So let's review the footage.
Man claims to have been kidnapped by dolphins and forced to build an underwater city. The man was found early Monday morning on the side of a beach in Lee County, soaking wet, dehydrated, and confused. When deputies arrived, he was drawing detailed diagrams in the sand. According to the man, a pod of dolphins took him while he was swimming and brought him to a place about 40 feet under the surface. He said they forced him to help build underwater structures. He told deputies the dolphins communicated with him using clicks. He said the group had a leader named Gerald who somehow helped him breathe underwater, possibly by creating an airspace. The man spent 3 days working on what he described as cities, towns, and condo-like structures. When the dolphins were satisfied with his work, they sent him back to the surface and told him they would return for phase 2. Medical staff treated him for dehydration, but found no signs of head injury or mental confusion. Tests showed seawater and marine particles in his lungs, suggesting he had been deep underwater for a long time without typical lung damage. This was unusual and raised questions for doctors. The man holds a master's degree in aerospace engineering and has experience with deep-sea technology, which he says is why the dolphins chose him. Some people think the story is false, but the physical evidence has made others curious.
The dolphins' leader name was Gerald? Sounds like the leader of a dolphin community to me. Forced him underwater to build condo-like structures? I'm in. I'm sold. And I swear I did not take a 50 milligram edible this time around. I did see dolphins when I did that. I was living a Lisa Frank dream. You can get caught up on a previous episode if you scroll through my Spotify. It happened like in the last week of February, or the second to last week of February 26. Gerald, the dolphin leader, convinced this man, whether it was against his will or not, took him under the water deeply to build condos and structures, and he was down there for days. When he was satisfied with his work, they sent him home. Then he was drawing detailed diagrams in the sand. They did some sort of tests on him, and they found signs of like sea minerals in his lungs, saying like this would indicate that he was pretty deep underwater for a while. What's that? What type of ADHD is that? I want that one. I want whatever that one is on. I want to meet Gerald. I want to go deep into the ocean and meet Gerald. I would love to build condos and structures. I would happily give up some of my severance to be a part of this. What is this? Yet here I am in Cincinnati, Ohio, with tractor trailers blasting their horns off because President Donald Trump is driving by. Meanwhile, Gerald's building an underwater community. How do I get into that one? Feels like purpose, which is what I am somewhat lacking right now. Feels like adventure. Feels like something I have the time and space for. Feels like it's giving like beach, it's giving mermaid beach, it's giving Lisa Frank again. Those are all the things if you're having a bad day, you need vitamin D. I've said this before. I read my horoscope this morning. I'm trying to get sunshine. I didn't have a nice coffee. That's where I made a mistake. Do you think there's a coffee shop? Is Gerald taking suggestions for the underwater community? Detailed diagrams in the sand. This man is not delusional. Granted, this entire video, by the way, this entire video could be AI, 100%. I have put zero. I don't have the energy. I can't even get my brain to commit to going to Crunch Fitness. I'm not putting in the energy to look up whether or not that video was AI. But it made me giggle, and I needed that this morning. And that is, if I could choose anything to do today on the 11th of March 2026, it would be to join Gerald in his quest underwater and building a community. So that's a really great place to leave it. I don't really have much to say other than that. I hope you're in a good place. And if not, you know that you always have a friend in me, and I hope to encourage you to show up as you are, whoever you are, wherever you are, come as you are. My name is Tiff Potter. I'm at the Tiff, 2Fs, Potter like the Wizard on social if you want to connect there. If any of the things I said made you giggle or resonated with you, send it to a friend. Maybe you subscribe to the show, whether it's here on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple, whatever the case may be. I appreciate you inviting me into your life and to the places that you love. Thank you for stopping by.